Tonight, a Mississippi death row inmate hopes the U.S. Supreme Court will play a pivotal role in his case. Curtis Flowers was tried 6 times for murder. His attorney says race was a factor during his trial.
In the first 4 trials, Doug Evans used 36 out of 36 strikes to get rid of African American jurors.
In 1986, the Supreme Court ruled that those challenges cannot be made on the basis of race. WJTV 12's Margaret Ann Carter spoke with local experts to get a clear timeline of events and what they believe will come next. Margaret Ann?
Well, Melanie, Curtis Flowers was charged with killing 4 people inside a furniture store in Winona, Mississippi. It was a heinous crime that shocked the state, but the sequence of events that would take place over the next 22 years would be just as shocking, even during today's U.S. Supreme Court hearing. Since 1996, Curtis Flowers has maintained his innocence. His first 2 trials resulted in convictions, but were later reversed on appeal by the Mississippi Supreme Court by what law professor Matt Steffi calls egregious prosecutorial misconduct.
Referring to evidence that wasn't in the record, referring to a suggestion that there was proof of a witness lying when there wasn't.
The 3rd trial resulted in a conviction, but was reversed for racial bias during jury selection.
The prosecutor used all of their strikes or challenges to remove all of the African-American prospective jurors.
Trials 4 and 5 resulted in mistrials. The 6th trial is the one on appeal before the U.S. Supreme Court now.
Building off the prior issues, the prosecutor allowed 1 African-American to be seated on the jury, and the question is whether there was enough evidence that this was because of the race of the jurors. The Mississippi Supreme Court looked at that and very narrowly upheld the conviction.
Today, the state argued the first 5 trials shouldn't be considered and the focus should be on the most recent trial.
The Supreme Court seemed to recognize that's impossible, that you can't look at the 6th in a series of 6 and pretend the first 5 don't influence it.
Longtime investigative reporter Jerry Mitchell says if there is a 7th trial, which is very likely, the prosecution will have an uphill battle.
Given all the attention and some of the problems that In the Dark podcast and some others have pointed out, the defense have pointed out, there could be some real issues and problems for a 7th trial.
And Steffi says we may not know what the U.S. Supreme Court decides to do until late June. He says it's highly unlikely Flowers would accept a plea deal as he has maintained his innocence for more than 2 decades. Byron?